I'm Rick Hart. This is your APTN News Brief for Thursday, March 21st. We begin in Ottawa where the topic of how to prevent violence during the 2024 elver fishing season came up at the Fisheries and Oceans Parliamentary Committee this week. And many witnesses before the committee spoke of what they saw as the mismanagement of the industry by the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. DFO closed the lucrative elver fishery season earlier this month. Also known as baby eels, they can fetch up to $5,000 a kilogram. And of late, 26 people have been arrested for unauthorized elver harvesting in Nova Scotia. Stanley King is the spokesperson for the Canadian Committee for a Sustainable Fishery. He says the elver stock is not at risk and that the closure cost 1,100 jobs. King testified DFO won't consult with industry experts. He also says he's met with First Nations on how to save the fishery.
We have tried to circumvent DFO by contacting the Assembly of First Nation Chiefs ourselves. We've met with them. We've had really great discussions. But ultimately, we can't do anything without DFO's approval. Like, DFO is the governing body. So although we've tried and the First Nations are willing to try, the license holders are willing to try, DFO is not willing to put us in a room together because, it might just reveal too much of what they've been doing or what they haven't been doing.
To the Yukon, where there's a new development in the legal battle surrounding a proposed mine on Casca traditional territory. With the latest, Sarah Connors.
In January, Yukon Supreme Court ruled the territorial and federal governments mostly upheld their duty to consult with the Casca Nation when allowing BMC Minerals' proposed Kutsakaya mining project to proceed to the next stage in the approval process. But in February, the court ordered the governments to have a consultation meeting with the Casca and reissue a decision on whether or not the mine should proceed. That meeting has happened, and the governments have released a revised decision. The new decision guarantees a water treatment plant and more input on managing an access road. It also proposes a project agreement between the governments and the Casca. The agreement would provide direction on how all parties could work together through the life of the project. But Chief Dylan Loblaw of the Ross River Dinna Council says no revisions or modifications in the decision document can change one simple fact.
The project is just simply in the wrong place, and we feel that a mine of that size and magnitude in a core caribou refuge shouldn't be designed and built at this time.
Back in February, the Casca Nation appealed the Territory Supreme Court's original decision that the Crown upheld its duty to consult with the Casca on the mine, among other things. Chief Loblaw says the Casca will continue with their appeal. The proposed mine's owners say they're confident they can meet all of the requirements of the revised decision document, and they'll continue to engage with the Casca. Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.
And finally, as one of Canada's coldest cities, it's tough to sleep rough in Yellowknife. Charlotte Moore-Jacobs now on how one not-for-profit works to keep the city's street-involved population safe.
Sandwiches. It's more than just a hot dog and a drink. For those who will soon enjoy this warm meal, it's a gesture of care and compassion.
Our budget's very low. We do go get snacks. Salvation Army's, because of their bread, they've had so much donated. We've gone there to get some bread. So we do try to eliminate the funding.
Perfect. Program manager of the Street Outreach Van, Kim Robinson, is helping prep for the afternoon drive. She's been with the Yellowknife Women's Society since 2018 and says they've expanded from delivering snacks to 25 full meals a day, thanks to Food Rescue, an organization collecting and distributing unwanted food from local grocers. The van operates from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m., 7 days a week, with 8 staff. Along with the food, they provide safe rides to the shelter, to and from doctor's appointments, and more for the street-involved population.
But we just drive around. We do have clients that do hang out Walmart, Tim Hortons area because they stay in tents. They prefer to do that than have to deal with the shelters. So we will go to them first, and then we'll head over to the day shelter and let the clients know that we do have snacks if they're interested.
I'm looking for anyone who might flag us down, and I'm looking for anyone who might be staggering or sitting or laying on the ground.
Street Outreach launched in 2017 with a few volunteers, but they were quickly able to reduce the frequency of RCMP responding to non-emergency calls. This resulted in less people going to the drunk tank and more folks being dropped off at the sobering center. Now staff serve up to 75 clients a day, and they're trained in trauma-informed approaches, de-escalation tactics, and mental health first aid.
Reached out to some of the businesses just to explain to them the ins and outs. If you call and say that there's a fight, we don't deal with that. But if you call the RCMP, or we call the RCMP, and we'll meet them there and try to de-escalate. Once that's done, then we can put them in the van.
The organization is on the hunt for funding. While the city provides $360,000 annually, they've also proposed to allocate millions of federal dollars from the Reaching Home funding over the next 2 years. This would include the purchase of a new street outreach van. And they're in desperate need. During a cold snap, their only vehicle broke down. Fortunately, a resident donated a newer used van, so they retired their old broken one. But long-term, YK Women's Society is hoping to expand services to include harm reduction and a medic.
With the medic, if they're passed out or they can't get up, we have to call the EMS, have them assessed, and then once they approve it, we can take them to the sobering center or to the day shelter. We have to call they won't take them unless they've been assessed.
A benefits concert for street outreach is being organized by volunteers next month in the capital city. Charlotte Moore-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
And that's your APTN News Brief for Thursday, March 21st. I'm Rick Harp.